Welcome, guys. Now, I'm going to be honest here. I was not expecting to do a pay-per-view review of Extreme Rules because I really wasn't interested. But I thought at least I should watch it. And if I had an idea what I wanted to say, maybe something brief about it, I would say something. Well, after watching it, I had no choice but to do a general review of it. Not going to be super specific about it, but I had to say something about it because I gotta say this. I'm sure there's gonna be a few people gonna say, damn, that was an incredible show. And I'm gonna say this. Did they trick you? Not me. And I think I'll use that title for this review. Because when it comes down to it, last year, when they announced that Eric and Paulie was going to take over as the ones who were the executive producers in a sense, or the ones who ran Raw and SmackDown. They were the executives of it. I knew from the very beginning that this was a joke. Because in the end, it would still be Vince who would make all the final decisions. And when you look at the show, it shows. It's not the point that the matches were bad. A lot of them were not. This is not the point of that. This is about Vince and his decisions about his show and how he's treating his talent. And if you're going to be honest here, no matter how much you may like this show, you have to come to terms with what Vince has done in the last 4 months. Now, let me explain the show and then I'll hopefully be able to relay what I feel about what Vince has done. Now, the opening was New Day versus Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, I didn't really care either way of them winning or losing. It didn't matter to me that New Day may win or may lose because the problem here is this. If New Day won, who are they going to go up against? They'll probably deal with what? They can't deal with the Forgotten Sons. They can't deal with Heavy Machinery. The only ones they could mainly deal with was Miz and Morrison, and they're about to possibly break up because I've been keeping up with a little bit what's going on with SmackDown. And there's no Usos. They're out as well. So who are they going to challenge? No one. There was no one there to challenge. Only ones left is Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, I know there might be another team there, but even if there's another team, tell me, do you really care about what's going on? They have now become 8-time champs, and that is New Day. I still love New Day. I still love Xavier Woods, Big E, and Kofi, but what do they have to work with? They have no tag division. So I had no interest either way of anyone winning or losing. And the match was okay. But it wasn't about the match. It was about who won. And it was Shinsuke and Cesaro who won. And for what I understand, Cesaro and Shinsuke have been angry because they have been looked over. Well, they're still being looked over because they have no competition. Who are they going to challenge now? Now that they won the titles. They won them. They're in my face. I believe I got the shot. If I don't, sorry. Who are they going to be challenged by? New Day. Unless they're going to throw another tag team together. Because that's the only thing you can do. They're going to probably throw a new tag team together. Maybe. If they don't, unless it's the Lucha House Party. Because as far as I know, Lucha House Party. Is Lucha House Party on SmackDown? I do not believe they are. I think they're on Raw. But even if they're on SmackDown, that's it. You got Shinsuke and Cesaro, New Day, and the Lucha House Party. That's 3 teams. That's it. There's nothing there. So for me, there's nothing to be really interested in. Particularly when it comes to Shinsuke and Cesaro. 2 guys. Understand, you got 2 guys in Shinsuke and Cesaro who are main event players who have been relegated to the tag teams because no one cares about either one of them. One because he's Japanese and he doesn't speak very well. And the other one who has been around for so long, who gives great work in the damn ring, and that's Cesaro since the beginning. What do we get with him? Nothing. He's never had a shot at becoming a champion and in game. Well, actually, I take that back. I think he did have 1 shot against John Cena once. Maybe once. Against John Cena when he was still working full time. And he got his butt whooped there. Getting the WWE Championship. once, I believe. So what do we have with two incredible talent? Nothing. Now, Women's SmackDown Championship. Bayley versus Nikki Cross, which, when I look at Nikki Cross, when she used to be Insanity, she was so good. She was interesting. She was nuts. She had no control, no inhibition. She would do whatever the hell she wanted. And now I look at this Nikki Cross. And I believe I got a shot of her with Asuka, Kyrie, as well as Alexa Bliss. I believe I got that shot. And she feels so ordinary. There's nothing there with Nikki. Now, the match itself, it wasn't really the point if the match was incredibly good or not. I didn't expect Bayley to lose here. And I expected Sasha to protect her, which she did. Fine. That's understandable because when it comes to Bayley, Bayley is the most interesting heel they have. Because I think she's the only credible heel they have that holds the title right now. So I wasn't surprised she won and retained her title. I wasn't surprised. Now, MVP and Lashley. Now, I didn't see what happened to Apollo Crews getting the full Nelson. I just saw the snippet of what they showed before the segment with MVP and Lashley. It's just sad to see them being like this with, Apollo Crews has been around for a while. And yes, he didn't have that much of a personality in NXT. But his ring work really spoke for himself. The most he really needed was just a manager, or better yet, they gave him a real character when he was in NXT. When he came to the main roster, they gave him nothing. They gave him no character, they gave him no prominent time, they gave him no real feuds, they gave him nothing until this. And right when he just begins to try and, he began to become very brash. And I think that would have been a good thing for him. But, no, they don't go far enough with him. And now this happens with MVP and Lashley. With the new US title that I believe MVP had issued. He wanted one made. I could be wrong, you guys can tell me below, because I don't really watch a lot of Raw much at all. Just a little bit once in a while, and that's just maybe in highlights. But when it comes down to it, guys, now MVP, who is supposed to face Apollo Crews, not counting when Apollo Crews got the damn full Nelson put on this Monday, he didn't show up. There was a forfeit. Now MVP is in the US Championship holder. Well, I believe I have the picture in my face of him holding the damn title having on his waist. Look, I don't hate MVP. But MVP should be a manager. He should be managing, and this should be about Lashley. Now, maybe it will be eventually. I don't know. But when it comes down to it, I don't see any real interest in MVP holding the US title. Unless they're going to really push Apollo Crews, or they're going to really push Lashley. And I just don't see it. I don't see either way. Now, I could still be wrong, but you guys can tell me below. An eye for an eye match. When it comes down to it, we know that Ray was considering leaving because he has no contract. Ray has been working, I believe, for free. Or at least if he has been working and getting paid, he's not binding to the WWE. He was doing this by his own volition. Ray has not had a contract for at least a month or so. So he's been working, either he's been working for free, or he's been working with no contract, but they still been paying him probably show by show basis. So I wasn't surprised that he was going to lose here. I think it was finally time for Ray to leave. And I'm not surprised that he's the one who had the hit here. Now the question was, how were they going to do the eye for an eye match where this was going to pop out of the eye? Now they used the steel steps to mess up his eye the first time. So when I saw them doing it again, I thought, well, we're not going to see the eye get popped out. We're just going to see his eye and his face get rammed into the steel steps. And was the match okay? It wasn't too bad until the end. When Ray finally got his face shoved into, got his shit shoved in to the steel steps on his other eye. And then when he popped back, and we did not see the eye pop out, but we did see blood, which probably was like a blood bag in his mask and they had to be careful, or the refs ran over with a blood bag and threw it into his face, so when the people at home watched, they would be surprised to see blood. It was fine. Until Seth Rollins started throwing up. He's in my face. I believe I caught him hunching over, but no throw up. He had to swallow something. Someone had to give him something to put in his mouth, and then he threw it out. Spit it up. That was the best way to do it. He wasn't going to throw up in real life. They had to give him something to swallow and hold it, and when the camera came on him, there you go. That's obvious. I believe that was the worst thing to do. I believe having Seth Rollins do a fake throw up was the most stupidest thing they could have done. For the simple reason, if the Monday Night Messiah was such a strong-willed person, he shouldn't have thrown up seeing Ray's eye popped out of his head. That showed him as a bitch. I repeat again, a bitch. He should have actually been more than strong enough to take seeing his eye popped out, run right over or walk right over, get onto his knees in front of Ray and say, "This is all your fault. This is what you get. Get him out of my arena or my studio," or whatever you want to call the performance center. That would have been better than him just throwing up and then all the other NXT stars looking at him, hammering on the retaining walls, screaming at him and getting angry at him. And he's acting shocked. Stupid. That's what a face would do. Not a heel who's saying, "I'm going to be the greatest godlike being on the planet of wrestling. Wrestling Planet 459. There you go. But it just was dumb. For me, personally, it was dumb. If you enjoyed it, more power to you. But to me, no. Asuka versus there's a picture of them in my face. Seeing Asuka go up against Sasha, which was the best match of the night. It was. Sasha and Asuka have great chemistry. It shows. When you saw Bayley and Nikki, there was not that great of a chemistry. They were good in the ring, but this was great. And like I said, this was not about the matches. Many of the matches were fine. But when you look at this match, it was not about how the match went down. The match was really good. It was the finish. You couldn't let Asuka just lose. You couldn't just let Sasha lose. You had to have Asuka miss the ref. Then you get Asuka getting hit in the face or hit in the back with the I think it was one of the tag titles. And then you get Bayley, and I believe I have a shot of her. She's in my face. She basically puts the ref shirt on. She pulls it off and puts it on herself and does the 1, 2, 3. What? And then the worst thing about this, you couldn't have made this a stipulation, which would have made this even better. A stipulation where if something happens to the ref, Bayley could take over. No. Bayley just puts the ref shirt on, does 1, 2, 3, they go and grab the titles, and then it's Byron Saxton who's saying 100%, this is not real. She is not a ref. There's no rules that say she can't be a ref. This is still Asuka's title. Really. Look at this woman in my face. Kairi Sane. As far as I understand, her contract is practically up and she's about to go back to Japan. And you couldn't give a definitive thing for her to be a part of before she leaves, if she is leaving. No. You couldn't just let Asuka win. Or you couldn't let just Sasha just plain win. Make it clean. And then try to build a story around that. Either for Asuka or for Sasha. No. You do this stupid finish, which I'm sure a lot of people are going to be fine with. For me personally, look, Asuka is not the problem here. It's Sasha and Bayley. They have nothing for the women to do, and it's only Sasha and Bayley who have been doing anything for the women. Period. And many people are still wanting Sasha and Bayley to go up against one another when it is obvious that boat has sailed. And I'm saying it clear to anyone. That damn boat has sailed away. And if they ever do it, it will be a joke. It would be a damn joke when they actually have Bailey versus Sasha, no matter for the NXT or for the SmackDown or for the Raw or for a unified title from both brands. I don't care. It is a joke at this point that they dragged out these two not being allowed to actually have their feud nearly 2.5 to 3 years ago. Now we're at 2.5 and 3 years ago. People still want the feud, and it's obvious they're not going there. It's a joke. This is just me, you guys tell me below. The Universal title. What was that? Dolph versus Drew. Stipulation match. Dolph had the right to have a stipulation because Drew gave it to him. So this was a stipulation. And I heard some of the rumors that it could have been a TLC match. And I was thinking, are they really going to win a TLC match? Then you got Dolph stating it in the ring. And he's in my face. He says, an Extreme Rules match for me. Nothing for you, Dolph. Dolph saying this to Drew. Nothing for you. You have to do a regular match. I get Extreme Rules. You do not. If you get pin submitted, I win. If you get counted out, I win. If you do DQ, I win. I can use any weapon I want, any chair I want, any table I want, and I can't get counted out. Now, you would think, well, this must be an incredible match. Was it a good match? It was okay. It was good. But not 1 second did I believe Dolph was going to win. I'm saying it right now. Dolph is a joke. He should have left 4 years ago from the WWE, went to either Impact Wrestling, ROH. Hell, he should have left. He should have left, gone maybe to New Japan Pro Wrestling, gone somewhere else. NWA for that matter. He could have gone to NWA and Billy Corgan's own promotion. He would have been treated better than this. Whether you like Dolph or not, they bitched his ass out for years. He's done nothing. And this just proves it. It's not the point, was it a good match or not? The point is, it was not believable because I didn't believe for a second Drew was going to lose and Dolph was going to win. Finally, last match. A swamp fight between Bray and... You see them both in my face when Braun Strowman was basically not tied up, but chained up. This was a mindfuck match. Pretty much that's what this was. This was a repeat of what Bray did to John Cena. It was a mindfuck. Sorry for the language, but it's true. This was about screwing with you guys. This was about screwing with Braun. This was an exact same match that Bray did when he went up against John Cena. That's the truth. So when it comes down to it, him saying what he said, that I was destroyed, but I've come back and I'm strong in it. Why does it have to be the Eater of Worlds Bray? Why? I don't care about the Eater of Worlds Bray. That gimmick, done. We're supposed to be caring about either Mr. Rogers Bray or the Fiend Bray. I don't really care about the Eater of Worlds Bray. He's boring. You know why? Because he's gotten his ass buried so many times, I lost count. So when you see this match, and you see in the end the Fiend come up after, let me paint the picture a little bit. We have at the end of it, because Braun really thought he finally got rid of Bray. Because at the very end, Bray gets knocked off of a pier and goes into the swamp. He finally thought he was free. And then Bray grabs him, pulls him in again, and then we have the Fiend coming up from the swamp and saying, "Let me in." Now, this show, I'm sure many people are going to say it was great, particularly at the end of it with the cinematics. But I'm going to be honest with you guys here. You got tricked. This is not about if the show was good or not. This is about what happens forward. Because as far as I can tell, nothing has changed. People are still in mediocre or no storylines, still having similar matches that they had for the last year, The only difference is there are no fans. Bray is still being bitched out because what has Bray done? He got destroyed last year at Hell in a Cell when he should have... Understand, Hell in a Cell was the worst decision WWE ever made. They should have never put Bray in with Seth. And when they did put Bray in with Seth, they should have let Bray win. And he did win, and he looked bitched out. And he's been bitched out since November of 2019. Nothing has accomplished for him. I don't see anything that's accomplished for anyone. Honestly, nothing has changed for Raw or SmackDown. Do we have good matches from these talents? Yes. No one's saying that they can't wrestle, many of them. Asuka and Sasha was the best match of the night because both of them are very talented wrestlers. But it's not about that. Asuka is nothing because even though Becky gave her the title because she got pregnant, Asuka has been nothing for months before Becky got pregnant. Asuka's done nothing with the Kabuki Warriors for months, especially when she was going up against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross for those damn titles which never meant anything. The shows are exactly the same. And the pay-per-view is still the same. The outcomes may be different, but they don't lead anywhere. Look at Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. They now are the champions of SmackDown. What does that mean? Do they get new talent to go up against? No, they're going to probably have New Day, maybe the Lucha House Party. There's no heavy machinery. There's no Forgotten Sons. And they're on Raw. Raw, if I understand. It's not like the Street Profits are going to come over to SmackDown and go after the titles unless they're going to do it. Because that's it. There's nothing for no one to do. Look at Sasha. Look at Bayley. Shouldn't they have already had their feud started already? No, they just did a very screwy ending, and now Sasha has the title. Does that mean that the feud between her and Asuka is over? No. But it doesn't mean that we're actually going to have a feud between Bayley and Sasha. That's what people want, and they're still not going to get it. When it came to Drew, did you actually believe that Dolph was going to win? Nope. And then the final match of not even final match. The mindfuck of Braun Strowman. It's the same as what he did against John Cena. Was the cinematics good? Yes, there was good amount of cinematics in it. And the camera work looked a little better this time. I'm not saying it was perfect, but at least it looked a little better because at least they gave more wider angles. More time for you to actually see what was going on. So at least it was better than what they did the last 2 times. But I've seen this already. Bray was going to win, going to defeat Braun, but it's the same mindfuck. What does this mean for Bray Wyatt? Does this mean he's going to get a title opportunity? Does it mean he is the champion now? What would he do if he is champion? Is he going to have a challenger? What is he going to do now? Nothing. But this is just me. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.